It's Tuesday, February 20th. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. On today's show, we talked to Chief Peter Burke and Commissioner Peter Cross of the Hyannis Fire Department about the new Hyannis Fire Station construction. Then we catch up with Consumer Affairs Supervisor Liz Hartsgrove. And finally, Tina Crook, Math Curriculum Coordinator with Barnstable Public Schools. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The Art on Loan program displays the works of local artists on meeting room walls in Barnstable Town Hall. Currently on display are works by Barnstable High School students in the hearing room and the Selectmen's Conference Room. A view of Sandy Neck through the eyes of Barnstable High School art students on display in the hearing room and graphic design student work in the Selectmen's Conference Room now through March 16th. The Barnstable Youth Commission will again be hosting their Community Prevention Forum and 7th Grade Youth Summit. The Community Prevention Forum will be held on Thursday, March 15th at Cape Cod Community College in the Tilden Arts Center. The public is welcome to attend for a presentation and open discussion with a panel of Barnstable police officers on what the trends are, what you should look for, as well as a Q&A. The 7th Grade Youth Summit will take place the next day, also at Cape Cod Community College, with Dynamic Influence and Kevin Rosario presenting along with BHS Peer Leadership. There will also be presentations by many clubs, sports, and activities available when the 7th graders enter the high school in the fall. The town of Barnstable has over 40 boards, committees, and commissions with approximately 291 seats. Citizen participation is exemplary, and the town council appreciates each and every member who serves. If you are a resident registered to vote in the town of Barnstable and interested in serving on a board or committee, please fill out an application by visiting townofbarnstable.us. For a more detailed description and responsibilities of the committees, please contact the Town Council office at 508-862-4738. The Appointments Committee, made up of 5 town councilors, will interview applicants and make recommendations to the Town Council, who vote to appoint members at their regular meetings. Coming up next, an update on the construction of the new Hyannis Fire Station with Chief Burke and Commissioner Cross. We're here at the Hyannis Fire Department today with Commissioner Peter Cross and Chief Peter Burke. We're going to talk about how the construction is going. So, I mean, it's coming along pretty good, but you've had some setbacks with the weather.
The weather has not cooperated at all. We've had mud, we've had 2 degrees, we've had rain, we've had wind-driven rain, we've had all kinds of things. So that you can see the giant tent that's on the side of the building. Excuse me. In order for the masons to work, they had to tent the building. The staging is up. They're within 2 or 3 feet of finishing that east side of the building now at the top, but they have to keep it at a certain temperature so the mortar sets so that it doesn't freeze.
Right.
And that's just the type of challenge that we've had going along and trying to get the roofers up there many days in a row when the wind's blowing and it's not safe for them even though they're tethered. We've had some challenges, but this is New England, this is Cape Cod, and that's what it is.
Right.
You have to work with it, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we haven't had a ton of snow, but the weather itself has not been great. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of cold temperatures, like you said. So, they're soldiering on, continuing to do the work. I know Peter. Last time we talked, there was a talk. Once phase 1 is completed, you'll be moving operations, the offices into the building. How is that looking?
Still on track. So
Great.
like the Commissioner said, the weather provided a challenge, but we anticipated that. So we're still looking at a spring to summer move for the first phase, and then the following 2 phases will continue through the fall next year.
Wonderful. As far as the construction goes, what is? I know the process to get to this point was very long. Many votes were taken. What do you think so far about how the construction is progressing, other than the weather?
Other than the weather, I'm very pleased with our owner's project manager, Paul Griffin, and construction monitoring services. The architects have been Castle Booths have been very cooperative with us. We meet with them on a regular basis and talk about things that we perceive as problems. And I say we, the chief and the staff has a great deal of input to how this building's being built. And sometimes the architects have to be bent a little bit to get them to figure out what the chief and the people that are going to use this building are talking about. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be using this building extensively. I'll be a commissioner, and we'll have a commissioner's meeting room. But Peter and the firefighter paramedics are going to work in this building. They're going to live in this building. This is their home for that 24-hour shift. And so we want to make sure that we get it right.
Right.
And so the architects, we We talk with them on a regular basis. We had some issues trying to find overhead doors because we're in the hurricane zone here because we're within a mile of the harbor. And so hurricane doors have to be wind resistant and blast resistant. And blast resistant means that they actually take an air cannon and shoot a 2x4 into a window and the window can't break.
Wow.
And so we have to have those doors and we order them and they have to be special colors and we get the right color red. And just lots of different details that go through when we meet with the architects and the owner's project manager and the construction and the general contractor every 2 weeks. There are 5 pages of things that are to be discussed and details to be worked out. And a building like this has thousands and thousands of details that have to be considered. Yesterday we spent some time talking about making sure that there's a shelf on the bottom of the mirror in the bathroom so that when the firefighters brush their teeth, they'll have a place to put their toothbrush or their razor or their hair dryer or whatever. You know, just little details, little froggy details that mess things up. We want to make sure we get it right for the people that are going to work and live in this building. And we also want to make sure that we do it on budget, which we are so far, because we have a definite responsibility to the taxpayers of the village of Hyannis to keep it on budget or under budget. And right now, it looks like we're a little bit under budget.
That's wonderful. That's so good to hear.
On budget. And that's, you know, I'm an old Cape Cod Yankee. Don't spend it if you don't have to.
Right. It's so true. And I think it's great to hear that you as a commission and the chief and the firefighters here meet with the crew that's working on this new building to go over these things, because you know you do any project you do, whether it's a small, like you're just building a shed in your yard, or a building this size, as you're doing it, issues are going to come up, things are going to come up that need to be decided on or changed or things like that. So it's good to hear that there's that open communication between you and the builders, that in the owner's project manager to fix these things and make decisions as it goes along. So I'd love to hear that.
And to solve problems. We have crew's quarters because we have both male and female crew. We have crew's quarters that are unisex with bathrooms across the hall. And one of the things that we found, the crew's quarters had a door, and because it's a public building, all those doors have to open out. But if you're responding to a call in the middle of the night, the last thing you want to do is be hustling down the hall and have a door open in front of you.
Right.
So we eliminated those doors, but we put blocking in the wall so that if some future date we want to, we can put in a sliding barn door.
Right.
As opposed to, we can't do pocket doors because they're all steel studs, but we can put in sliding barn doors if it's necessary. But right now we don't feel it's necessary, so that's just a contingency.
Wonderful. Chief Burke, last time I was here, we also, you were in the process of discussing with the Barnstable Police Department about making changes to your 911 service. And in between now and then and now, that's been decided that the Barnstable Police Department is going to take over your emergency 911 calls. And I know this was a decision made, you know, you talked to your staff about it, the commissioners were involved in it. How's everyone feeling about the decision to move to the Barnstable Police Department for your 911?
So as you mentioned, it was a really collective decision between the commissioners and our staff to ensure that that decision was in the best interest of the citizens first and foremost, and that would work for our firefighters and our community. And I think after vetting that out, we're confident that that's going to be a much more efficient way of doing business for us. We're going to gain a level of detail that we didn't have in the past in terms of communication with the police department. And I think overall we're really excited for that transition to happen. Probably early spring is the target date right now.
Right. I know the police department is currently going under renovations to their system, and I know the chief is anxiously awaiting for it to be finished and to start that up. Commissioner Cross, what was your feelings about making that switch?
We were at the right place at the right time, and Chief Burke brought the proposal to us as commissioners, and we said this is a no-brainer because the radio equipment in this building is antique, and it all had to be replaced, and it made no sense to take antique equipment and move it into a new building. We have trouble getting parts for the equipment as it is now, and so we had budgeted in the building budget as a large chunk of money to do radio equipment and everything. And what we did is we split some of that, and some of it will go to the Barnstable Police Department as our equipment, and some of it will be here. But what it will do, it will facilitate getting our people on the road faster. It also never made sense to me to have a trained firefighter paramedic answering the phone and doing dispatch. In some ways that's helpful because they know the town, they know the vehicles. But what this is going to do is it's going to take one person every shift and put them back on the floor. And the people that are going to be dispatching are trained dispatchers that are trained to dispatch both fire and rescue, as well as the Barnstable Police Department. And I think they're adding three additional dispatchers, is that correct?
In addition to the ones they were hiring.
So we're part of that. And we just happen to be at the right place at the right time, and the chief brought that to us, and we said, wow, why wouldn't we do this? This would be nuts not to.
Right.
It's a win situation for everybody.
Yeah, having that firefighter that would normally be dispatching back out on one of the trucks, ready to go out and do their job. I think that's a great opportunity for us to be, the staff to be ready and willing to do that part of their job and not be focused on the dispatching portion of things. So
yes, and it better serves the community too, because we need to put as many people on the road, either in a fire truck or an ambulance, as we can at every given time, because being understaffed and undermanned is just not good in the fire service. It just isn't.
And when as busy as the Hyannis Fire Department is, you need all the man and woman power you can get.
I'm surprised that we haven't had any calls here this morning so far, since I've been here since about 9:15, and there haven't been any calls. So that's an unusual day. So
it's true.
I don't want to jinx it, Peter. I'm sorry.
Now, before I let you guys go, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers know about before we end this interview today?
We settled a contract last night with the Firefighters Union 2172. We signed a contract, so we've got that. That's been an ongoing proposition, and that's done. We're looking forward to getting into the new firehouse, and this what you see behind us is phase 1. As phase 2, when we move from the existing firehouse into the new firehouse, this will be torn down. The existing firehouse will be torn down, and phase 3 will go from this wall that's right behind us, another 3 bays and a mechanic bay, and that's hopefully by the end of the year we'll be completely done.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
It's an ambitious project, and we're going for it.
Yes, wonderful. I know everyone in the Village of Hyannis, including myself as a resident of the Village of Hyannis, is really looking forward to it. And thank you both so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And talking with us about the construction and the 911 changes. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sarah.
for having us.
Thank you. My guest today was Commissioner Peter Cross and Chief Peter Burke from the Hyannis Fire Department. Coming up, Tina Crook, the Math Curriculum Coordinator for grades 6 through 12 at Barnstable Public Schools. But first, Consumer Affairs Supervisor Liz Hartsgrove. Liz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me.
We're going to talk about all things consumer affairs like we usually do.
Yeah.
First thing we want to talk about is what we talked about last time was the vendor contract permits for parking on Main Street.
Yeah, we were able to get one of the gateway greeters at the beginning of this week to go out and just advertise and do a little bit of just face-to-face contact and talking about it with the business owners. So, and trying to find some contractors that were out already and just spreading the word about the vendor contractor permits. So it's, so it's on a roll.
Yeah, what has the response been like?
It's been very favorable, actually. Good. So, and people have been asking questions, contacting our office, and then giving us some other ideas and concepts and things that we can look into further, which is great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's been a really good community effort on
Excellent.
This. Yeah.
We also want to talk about special event permits.
Yeah, that's a new thing that was added last summer because, as you know, right here in Hyannis, we have a lot of special events, and they mostly occur during the guest season from April to October. And it's really hard to find parking when you are participating in it and actually a vendor or somebody that's a part of the organization that's throwing the special event. So we have special event parking permits, and they're $15 a day for any event that occurs after Memorial Day. So, and we have designated locations that they can choose from as their top priorities, but we have to, we have to mesh it out and make sure that everybody is evenly balanced with parking. So, but it allows them to go beyond the extended parking time limitations that are in each individual lot. So
I'm sure that's really helpful.
It is. It has been, and we got some really good feedback from the events that actually participated last year with it, and it was really favorable.
Great. So if anyone out there is going to be having a special event, they're going to be a vendor at an event, or they're planning the event, they should definitely ask the Consumer Affairs Department about these special event parking permits?
Yeah, it's for the Hyannis area where we have the most congestion for parking and the most demand. And it doesn't guarantee, similar to the vendor contractor permits, it doesn't guarantee a space. It just guarantees that when you have it displayed properly, you will not get a ticket for overtime. And you do not also have to pay for parking in the metered lots that we have. So yeah, so there are some benefits to actually investing in a special event parking permit.
If someone's going to be a vendor at an event, say it's like a craft fair, should they contact you or should they contact the person who's holding the event?
Who's holding the event? That's a great question, Sarah. Holding the event. So it has to be the event organizer that actually applies for the permits, and they can collect the money from each vendor, and there's several options that they can do. That's between them and their vendors, but for any event that, again, between Memorial Day and Labor Day is when we have those fees. And yeah, so they can just apply, but it has to be the event organizer, and so it's actually a really good win-win for everyone.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The people that are hosting the event, it's probably nice for them to be able to say, I've got these permits and this is where you can park. Hopefully there's space for you, but if there isn't, there's maybe there's some other places that they can let them know about.
Absolutely, and one of those locations is the Armory lot, which is required only by permit. So it actually is a benefit. We try to schedule any vehicle that has a trailer, so it's easy to pull in, and it's very safe. So because we have to also think of public safety when we issue these permits. So and keeping everybody organized. So it's a nice central location from the Town Hall Green to Bismore and Asselton Park. So, but yeah, it's a great permit to look into.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We also want to talk about, I know it's still February, but the Bismore the Bismore Welcome Center, opening day.
It is right around the corner. it seems like a far distance away, but it really is not. Actually, the Harbor Master and the Welcome Center is officially kicking off the grand opening on April 28th on Friday. So yeah, it's ready to go. The bathrooms are going to be open. We're going to have it fully staffed, and we're all ready and excited. So, and in the meantime, we're we've got, because of the opening is 10 weeks away.
Right.
We're in the middle of just getting it ready. So that includes brochure sales in the Welcome Center. So that's available for any local business, nonprofit. So if they're interested, they can go to the website and then be able to have their brochures displayed in the Welcome Center. This past year, just on the clicker that our staff was able to count, we had well over 10,000 people show up over the course of the summer. And we had, I believe, 39 states represented and well over 25 countries.
Wow.
That just signed the guest book. So it tells you a lot that you reach a lot of people when you go and you advertise and have your brochures there, because they're looking at them, they're grabbing them, they're asking questions, and the gateway greeters are there to provide the information. Yeah. So it's a really good thing to have in the community. Yeah.
I think that the Welcome Center down at Bismore Park is just, so many people go through that area, whether they're coming off the boats or going on the boats, or just people that are, exploring Hyannis, they follow the walkway to the sea, and it's such a beautiful location. It is. It's such a great spot to catch people, and to have your brochure there is, I think, really important.
It is very important, and we do have a lot of things going on there. So to allow people to enjoy it, we have the artist shanties, so people can go to do shopping. We have games there, picnic tables. We've got the cornhole game that was new last year, and that was wildly successful. I mean, there was not a moment that I went down there that somebody was not playing there. And we have a handmade scoreboard that was done by DPW. So it's a whole team effort to get this going. And yeah, it's just a wonderful thing. So when you advertise your business down there, that's a whole nother presence for your business.
Wonderful.
It's great.
And as part of the the Bismore Park Welcoming Center, you have some positions that are open.
Yeah, we have another gateway greeter position that's become available. So we're looking for people that are interested and really have a strength in customer service, and also local knowing the area, knowing the complexities of different communities on the Cape, and historic and all sorts of trivial information is really valuable to this, adding to the team. The other one that we have, the position, is brand new, well, sort of. We rewrote the parking enforcement officer position, so that's no longer. We're not enforcing. What is changed to is a parking resource officer. So we're really trying to just tailor it where it's assisting people, educating people, just helping people around. That's why we're here. We're here to help you park happy and not park angry and not park frustrated. It's parking happy in our community. So we had to restructure the whole position to just to complement it, what our mission is. And so those positions are available, and we're really looking for, again, people that have a strength in customer service, a strength in being a people specialist, that involves themselves with interacting with people and helping them.
Wonderful. And both of these positions are, out in the public. You're not trapped behind a desk.
Nope.
You're out there dealing with people every day. So I think anybody that's interested in that kind of atmosphere, that doesn't want to be, isolated in one location, I think this is a perfect job for someone like that.
I think so too. Yeah, because it's all over the place. It's not just in Hyannis. It's all 7 villages, at least for the parking resource officer position.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Liz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sarah.
I look forward to chatting with you again in a couple weeks.
Yay, thank you.
Thanks. My guest today is Liz Hartsgrove. She's the Consumer Affairs Supervisor here in the town of Barnstable. Tina, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to talk about a new pathway of classes that is going to be offered at Barnstable High School as part of a computer science program. What can you tell me about this new program?
Sure. So right now we are currently offering AP Computer Science A for students who are mostly in upperclassmen, mostly restricted just to seniors right now, just because of limited use and not limited use, but limited accessibility in the student schedule. So what we're going to do is we're going to, through Project Lead the Way, we're offering students beginning in 9th grade a pathway to computer science programming. The first year, next year, we're opening up to grades 9 and 10, and they would be taking Computer Science Essentials. And that is really the introductory course that allows them access to this pathway. Each year, we will add another course as we roll out this program to students. And students will have the opportunity to take 4 computer sciences, 2 of them AP.
Wow, that's amazing. And one of the ways that you're able to offer these classes is because of the schedule at the high school is expanding. So now instead of 6 classes, it'll be 7.
Absolutely. So right now, like I had said, the AP Computer Science A, we have about 25 students who take that course, mostly seniors, might be a couple juniors in there. So by students having that access to an additional course, they can take more electives. So this class, though the math department, it's housed in the math department, it's not one of the math requirements for Mass Core graduation requirements. So the students still have to take their Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, but it is an elective that we offer in the math department.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, really excited about it.
Is this the first elective within the math department, or do you have others?
Actually, that's a really good question. We do have some new semester courses being offered. We have puzzles and paradoxes. We have mathematical modeling, and then we have statistics. And some of those classes students can take for credit or just as electives. And we have SAT prep as well that we're going to be rolling in for next year.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
What are some of the computer science things that the students will be learning in this first course that's going to be offered? And this will be available for them to take this coming fall, correct?
Exactly. So 9th and 10th graders will get exposure to like the fundamentals of maybe some coding, a little bit of web design, etc. That will then lead them to the Computer Science Principles AP. So as a 9th or 10th grader, they can take the Essentials. Then 10th or 11th grader, they can take the AP Computer Science Principles. And then they can split into 2 different paths. They can senior year take AP Computer Science A, or cybersecurity. So they're
wow.
working on that program right now, the cybersecurity, and by the time we're fully implemented, that course will be available to students.
Wow, I know that's an emerging kind of computer-based job opportunity.
Absolutely.
I know they just started, they have a cybersecurity course at 4Cs, so this will be a great kind of feeder program into that.
Right, and another, there's a couple little pathways that we have going. So students at the high school can take Project Lead the Way engineering courses and or computer science, and they actually meet in the middle. And through that, and with AP and Project Lead the Way, they can get college credit for schools for the coursework that they do. So one brief little data statistic, in 2015, there were approximately 57,000 computer science graduates from college, and there were 550,000 jobs available.
Wow.
So it's like 8 times as many jobs available that there are students with that degree. So really, really many opportunities for students, entering this program.
Yeah, computers are definitely not going anywhere. They're just
No.
advancing year after year after
Yeah,
year.
it's just maintaining and keeping up with the changes with
So
it.
if a student has like that knack for that kind of thing, this is going to be a great pathway for them to really focus
Absolutely.
on that. Would you say that the students should have some, I mean, most kids these days do have, they probably know computers better than you and I,
Right.
but should they definitely have a strong interest in it, or would you say it's a great course to take if you're just, checking things out?
Absolutely, either way. I mean, I think that even if a student thinks they have interest in it, the only prerequisite is that they have completed pre-algebra, because there are some algebraic reasoning in some of the program writing. So that's why we put it in the 9th grade, because we want kids exposed to it as early as possible.
Wonderful. It sounds like such a great program. I'm so excited that this is coming to Barnstable High School next year, and thank you so much for telling us about it.
Thank you for having me.
Great. My guest today is Tina Crook. She's the math curriculum coordinator for grades 6 through 12 in Barnstable Public Schools. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Barnstable Today. On Wednesday's show, we talk with Finance Director Mark Milne, Assistant Airport Manager Katie Service, and Arts and Culture Coordinator Melissa Chartrand. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.